Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down the big topics using the source material itself. Today, we're diving into the 2024 Best Countries Report, because honestly, one of the biggest stories of the year is right there in the data. When you look at these big global rankings, you don't really expect a lot of drama at the very top. It's usually pretty stable. But this year, whoa. One nation made this absolutely massive leap, jumping 4 places in just 12 months to snag that number 2 spot. And that nation was Japan. So that's the million-dollar question, right? How in the world did Japan pull this off? And maybe more importantly, what does its rapid rise tell us about how we even measure a nation's success and influence in the modern world? All right, let's get into it. To really get Japan's rise, we first have to understand the rules of the game. How are these countries even judged in the first place? Well, it all boils down to this one big idea called a nation brand. Think of it as a country's global reputation. It's that gut feeling, that collection of perceptions that makes you want to visit or buy their stuff or even invest in their economy. And this quote from the report just nails it perfectly. You think of France, you think of Chanel, elegance, prestige, Italy and Ferrari, same deal, Japan and Sony. It shows how a country's brand and its big commercial brands are totally intertwined, feeding off each other. And look, this isn't just some random online poll. We're talking about a massive global survey here. This thing is run by WPP BAV, the Wharton School, and U.S. News & World Report. They're talking to 17,000 people across 89 countries. So yeah, the data set is serious. Okay, so all those people are asked to rate countries on 73 different attributes, which then get bundled into these 10 big categories. And what's so interesting is the mix you see here. You've got the old school stuff like power, but it's sitting right next to these really modern ideas like social purpose and agility. And this is absolutely crucial, not all of these factors are created equal. This is where it gets really, really interesting. Take a look at the weighting. Things like movers, which is all about how dynamic a country is, and entrepreneurship, they carry a massive amount of weight. We're talking almost a third of the entire score. Meanwhile, traditional power, it's less than 5%. That's a huge tell. So what does that tell you? It's not just about tanks and banks anymore. This idea of soft power, influence that comes from culture, from innovation, is clearly making a huge impact. So with that in mind, how does this new focus on soft power explain Japan's rise? Okay, so now that we know the playbook, Japan's massive surge starts to make a whole lot more sense. Let's break down the specific strengths that really propelled it to that number 2 spot. The report itself just captures Japan's brand perfectly. It calls it a land of captivating contrasts. And that's exactly it, isn't it? You have this incredible blend of the ancient, like tea ceremonies, and the absolute state-of-the-art, like those gleaming bullet trains. That mix creates such a powerful and unique image around the world. And if you had to point to the single biggest reason for their climb, here it is. Japan's number 1 asset in this whole ranking is its powerhouse reputation for entrepreneurship. This was the engine. This is what drove them to number 2. Now, when they say entrepreneurship, they don't just mean a bunch of cool startups. It's a really broad category. It covers the perception that Japan has some of the most advanced digital infrastructure on the planet, a super skilled and educated workforce, and really transparent, reliable business practices. These are the building blocks of a truly modern, innovative economy. And the numbers absolutely back this up. Just look at this. Japan is ranked number 3 in the world for entrepreneurship. Number 5 for cultural influence. It's in the top 5 for being trendy and innovative. And of course, it's a monster in cars and tech. It's that perfect storm of modern innovation and cultural soft power. Okay, so we've seen Japan's big move. What's the big picture here? What's the takeaway from this surge to number 2? And what does it say about the world we're living in? When you look at the top of the leaderboard, you see a couple of things. First, stability right at the top. Switzerland is holding on strong at number 1. But just below that, it's a whole different story. There's a ton of movement, and Japan's 4-spot jump is easily the most dramatic. It really signals that the way countries earn global respect is changing. And this comparison really drives the point home. You have 2 different paths to the top. Switzerland at number 1, their brand is built on this rock-solid foundation of stability, safety, being open for business. But Japan, their success is all about dynamism. It's about innovation, culture, and constantly looking towards the future. This really highlights a huge trend you can see throughout the entire report. The most powerful nation brands in the world today aren't just the biggest or the richest anymore. They're the ones that are seen as providing a great quality of life, caring about social purpose, and really focusing on that forward-thinking entrepreneurship.
And that kind of leaves us with one final big thought. If these are the new metrics for success, innovation, culture, agility, then Japan's rise probably isn't a one-off. It might just be the first big sign of a major reshuffling at the top of the global pecking order. And that makes you wonder, who's going to be next?